Hello and hey, Dave messing around with golf with your friends. This time going to be the Worms Classic Guide for the newly updated 2020 officially released game version 1.114, all that fun stuff. I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into these shots. All right, hole number one. Going to go ahead and go full power, aiming at the target on the left there. I like to aim for the outer ring on the right side, very obviously. And you can miss this by getting a little bit too far towards the center, so just look out for that. It is a little bit more specific than it probably needs to be, but the hole-in-one is still fun, and we went for it there. Hole two. This can be kind of a tricky shot just because it needs to be so specific. Well, not so specific, but the power is fine. The positioning of it can be a little tricky. Look at the spot right there, almost full power. We have to go just little enough to make it into that bowl, but we also need to hit the plank of wood to get there in the first place, and that's why those shots are like that. Hole three, don't mess around. Full power, straight at the hole, and go ahead and just feather it in the air. It sort of maintains your speed and keeps us from just hitting something and completely stopping, or at least gives us a less chance to do so. Hole four, I like to aim at this particular intersection, one up the hill. This doesn't go directly back into the hole like you easily could, but at one time I didn't get in, and so every other time since then I've done this, and I've never missed. And so that's why I do that like that. Hole five. This is a very risky shot if you do miss it, but it's pretty easy to hit. Full power, kind of right where the weird part of this tile is. You bounce off the tree in the background, and as long as you don't go immediately into the bowl, you have to roll for a little bit first. You won't get reset by the time your ball goes in the hole. If you do reset, you have to go more left. Hole number six, 2.5 power, basically straight at the hole. I tried to goof around a little bit too much with the jetpack the first time. Just lightly feather it. Basically, anytime you got to use the jetpack, and you'll be just fine. Hole seven. Kind of like this shot, we aim at the kind of gray part that we're just hitting off of there on the edge of that triangle. It's not ultra specific, but it will alter your second shot, so it won't be pixel perfect every single time. We want to aim at the corner of this piece at just under 3.5 power. And that is a little bit of a skill shot, but if you aim right around there, you'll be very, very close for the 3. I think a hole-in-one could be possible for that hole, but it'll require pixel perfect and some explosives. Hole 8. Speaking of pixel perfect and requiring explosives, here's your shot. This is going to be a hole-in-one. I do not recommend it. However, I do think that using the bombs to launch yourself to a different part of this same hole is the best way to safely do this too. But again, I just want to show off the best score here, and we get down back to hole 5 for a hole-in-one. Hole number 9, we're going back to this hole, hole number 4, I believe. We want to aim just right of the flagstick, go just under 3 power. This allows us to go down, take the slight bend left into the cup for the hole-in-one. Hole number 10. I like to aim at this part of the box. Take basically as little as power as you can off of this. There's a couple different ways that you'll end up going in. This is sort of the weirder one, the less common one, but it still works. There are some dead pixels on the box, so you just kind of move around a little bit if you do miss the first time. It's like a minefield of shots that work and don't with that same power. Hole number 11, I kind of wanted to show off the hole-in-one here as I've gotten it one time before, but it's not as practical and it's much less safe to go for it. So this shot is the one I want to show off. It's a very easy 2, if nothing else. And you get lucky, you can get the 1 as well. But we'll go ahead and show an alternative, which I usually don't do, but just to kind of get you to see what you need to aim for the hole-in-one. It's the same hole. Aim right here. We're trying to hit off the front of this tank is the idea. And it'll bounce forward onto the hill. I kind of hit that wall a little bit strange, so it didn't quite get the bounce off that I had gotten in the hole-in-one, but that's what it is. Hole 12, full power. When the lamp is coming towards the wall, just anywhere on this entire area, so it's timing based. Like I got unlucky to hit that other lamb, but as long as you stay up here, you're going to be just fine. It's going to be the same 1.5 power-ish directly at the flag. You can get a hole-in-one if you shoot directly into this hole. However, not worth going for and not worth showing, as that is just basically pixel perfect and timing perfect. Hole 13, like to go 3 1/3, 3 2/5. Again, we're going to feather. We're going to really feather that boost. I like to land right before the hole. That way we jump over it safely and don't get any kind of weird things going on. That's just my personal preference to use that hole. Hole 14, we have some pretty specific shots in terms of power. I like to go full power directly at that worm in the background. I haven't really looked into ways to shorten this at all, so I don't know if it's possible or it would be fun, but we're going to go ahead and just go to the next shot. I like to aim at the right side of that triangle in the distance, the left side of that little gray bit, I guess, at exactly 2 power. Just if you're going to miss, make sure you go left because it'll be a little bit tighter, because you can actually accidentally hit the wall and goof up the shot, but to the left is more forgiving. And finally, to the 6th tile along this wall, go 3.5 power, kind of aiming at the middle of it. Give you a chance to look at it for a second here. And that's the tightest one of the shots, but should work for you every single time. And get the 3. I don't know if you can get shorter, but it sure doesn't seem like you can get less than 3 strokes on that hole. Hole 15. First shot can be a little bit specific. We want to go full power. I like to get the right side of my cursor lined up with sort of the dark line on that far pillar. And this is the result if you hit the right spot. From here, we'll go all the way up the ramp, 1 tile from the wall. Waiting for the donkey statue to get out of the way. Again, that was another full power shot. And then lastly, since the barrels are so wildly variant on each degree of their explosion, you just kind of want to pick anything in the kind of area I'm showing you. I like to go about 1 power, but it doesn't actually really affect it that much how hard you enter that. This just happens to be the one that goes in, but even if you miss, it's an easy 4 on a par 7. Hole 16, this one was giving me fits for no reason at all. I'm not sure why. You go 1.5 power, kind of aiming towards that intersection. I like to feather it down to that plank and then off of the rocks. It is much easier than it shows. I was looking for something even easier, but don't expect to get it every single time. And it's a safe 2 as long as you really, are using the boost well. Very next hole. This is a 2 may be possible here, but we're going to need 3 shots. So I kind of go 3 power at the start, then almost 3 power again. And that's just so we can clear that thing without using any boost. I'm just making sure I'm not going to hit any bombs on the flight path over. There's not really that much timing. And then lastly, I zoom out 5 times. I did 7 by accident and went back 2. I like to go just over 2.5 power, kind of aiming either directly at the hole if I have a lot of boost, or a little bit less if I have less boost. And the reason for that is because we're going to feather it down to get down for that. 2 is possible if you get like very creative with your boost and things like that, but that is a very safe 3, and on a par 6 that works out great. And then hole 18, I don't know why I hadn't thought of this in the past, but we're here now. Go full power and then turn immediately left and look for hole 17's hole. We want to go just about 3.5, looking at this pretty much exact spot, because we do have to dunk it. Otherwise, we won't have enough time to get in the hole. Not necessarily worth it to go for, because the hole 18 has a very simple 3. You go full power the first shot, just under full power the second shot, and then full power the last shot if you're having any trouble getting the 3 on hole 18. But that's how you get the 2. And I like to show the best shot where available if it's easy. Or easy enough to replicate, I should say. Anyway, that's Worms. I think probably the 3rd best course that Team 17 has released, and definitely like on a different level than the other 2 that I don't have or hold in quite as high favor, but I enjoy it. It's a fun course. I've really warmed up to it, and I think it's great. So get on to the other guides. I'll try to stop stuttering in all these other videos, and we'll hope for the best. So as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be safe, guys.